Oh, hello there and welcome along to Friday Night Lights. Usual panel this week, we're back. Johnny's back in the chair and Gavin as well. Look, not a bad week last week actually, even without you, Johnny, somehow. But it's a cracking weekend in Ireland. We're starting, obviously, with Dundalk. Anything catch your eye from last week?
Sure, it has to be the super mare, doesn't it? It has to be Clear Skies. She's gone up £35 in the last couple of months and she's now rated 107. Started off at 72, so she's the queen of Dundalk.
Heads for Lingfield probably as well.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Johnny,
that'll be interesting, yeah, because Aidan wouldn't usually have many runners there, and with her pedigree as well, it's great that she's doing so well. I think Settle for Bay, to be fair, the amount he's gone up in the handicap to win again was a hell of an achievement. He looks like he'll be interesting on turf this year in some nice races as well, even though he handles the all-weather very well.
Good stuff. Well, we do have other racing this weekend. We might quickly mention that at the end if we get through Dundalk. But we start off with his claimer. Zayfu is pretty interesting for me. Obviously, didn't run great the last couple of times, but he was eye-catching enough prior to that. What do you make of this?
I'm going to go for Settle for Red. It's won 4 times at a mile, twice at 10 furlongs. Had a recent run over 7, stepping back up. David Marnane's horse are in good form. Billy Lee, it's drawn 8 of 8, but Settle for Red for me.
Yeah, Johnny?
Yeah, catchy last for me. Plenty of form around course and trip. I think there will be an okay pace on here in the race, and Settle for Red obviously is interest as well. Specific Gravity to have a chance, and strictly on ratings he should be beaten. My selection, but he's a little bit frustrating. Zayfu was a bit to prove after the last 2 runs. I think he's likely gone backwards a bit, even though he's well down in class here. But catchy lass, Conor McGovern gets on well with her, and if she can just settle in off the pace, I think she's a very good each way chance.
Good stuff. Upcoming at 5:30 then we got this rated race. It could be a decent night for Joseph O'Brien. He's got the top weight here. Uncle Henry, I think you tipped up in a previous show. Johnny, Gavin, anything stand up to
It's
you?
actually a decent race. You've got Caracca for Gordon Elliott. You've got Alcander, who's a little bit unlucky the last day. The 2 of those are drawn quite wide in 13 and 14. You've got Shadigan stepping back down in trip. If they go $1 million up front, that'll suit him. Sharjah is running here before he runs on Sunday in Leopardstown. He'll probably get the lead.
You like that joke, don't
Oh,
you?
very good, Gavin. Did
very
you write
funny,
that
isn't it?
yourself?
I did, I did.
Yeah. I haven't heard you play it before.
No.
Yeah.
Someone will definitely going to text me like, oh, if you put down charge and don't put down whatever time the race is, you could get paid twice. Like,
You won't get paid at all, it's fine.
No, you won't get paid. I'm going to go for Uncle Henry. Won very well the last day by 3.5 lengths over 1.5 miles. Previously had been third over 10.5. It gets a £2 allowance for being just turning 4. So Uncle Henry because of the trip.
Yeah. John?
yeah, there was word for him the last year. I don't think he's badly handicapped off 80. I'm not a big fan of backing horses straight from maidens into handicap. So as a consequence, I'm going to go with Shadigan, who doesn't win very often, but he ran a very solid race over 2 miles the last day. He was backed on track after drifting during the day. He's back at 1.5 miles. Don't think it'll make a major difference to him. Off 70, he should be thereabouts. In what Gavin says is an interesting race. Rapstar, I think Gavin tipped quite recently. I was just looking at his form. It's run over 20 times and hasn't won, but back over 1.5 miles, I actually could see it
Nimitz
run
last
well.
week. Nimitz,
Yeah.
13 times in a
Yeah.
game.
I could see it run well, but it's been a bit frustrating.
Yeah, actually on Uncle Henry's rating, I mean, handicapper hasn't taken any chances, given him 80.
I don't know, he won so well. Like, I know it wasn't a great race he won, but
Worcester's only rated 83.
yeah, I mean, it was only I think it was only his second start, and he won by 3.5 lengths. And the horse in second, I backed the horse in second. I thought he was quite solid, and he really beat him well. So I think he'll be a lovely dual-purpose horse, this fella.
Right, on to the first division now, the 45 to 65. Upcoming at 6 o'clock. Anything for you here, Gav?
Jock Talk deserves a mention. First time cheek pieces. Texas Radio, our old friend that we have mentioned. We've tipped him up loads of times. Last week when he ran,
think he has a chance here.
he has a chance. He's drawn 12 as a negative. Last week, Nathan Cross was riding Peace Mission. He lost his irons and he ploughed through the field. And Texas Radio was pushed wide, so you can ignore that run. I'm just going to go for rummaging small each way bet, perhaps. It's his first time ever in a 45 to 65. He's been running around for years and years. He hasn't won for 2.5 years. He's 6 wins at Dundalk, but just because he's dropping down to the lowest grade, maybe rummaging.
Has a chance.
Yeah.
Johnny?
Yeah, I pick rummaging as well. Never run the grade before, and 2 runs back. His run behind Mocka Lad, I think, would be good enough to win this race. I've given up on Texas Radio, so you can back him probably. You know, I just becoming a bit frustrating. He's my most costly horse to follow actually at Dundalk so far in the winter series. So you can be sure he will win. But rummaging is my selection. Good
stuff. Right, on to the second division of that one. Turn on the Tears. They're going to caught my eye dropping back down to the strip.
Yeah, I like Turn on the Tears actually, and Ben Cohen taking 7 off. Definitely the draw could be better, but I think first time cheek pieces as well, and I don't think Cape Blanco Bred got the mile and 2.5 quite as conclusively as the mile. very, very solid chance. I think mightn't be a bad price either.
Yeah, Gavin?
It's a very open race, as is the case in many races at Dundalk. Pari Passu, if it settles better, it's run very free the last twice. Mostafi, you'd have a chance. I'm just going to tip up Zia Later. Most of its runs have been over 5 and 6. Last 2 runs are over 7. Stayed on very well last week to be only beaten a half length by Blues Breaker. So stepping up to a mile, it may not stay, but if it does, it has a chance drawn too.
Sabras is interesting as well because this horse seemed to be handicapped over shorter, went down the handicap, stepped up to its old trips from England and just doesn't seem to get the trip anymore, and now is back to a mile. I'd be very interested to see how it goes in the market beforehand for Johnny Levins.
Good stuff. One of the races of the evening actually is due off at 7 o'clock. Intriguing sort of switching the weights here between Ibel and Adelia. I think they're about £26 better off this time, but Palace Guard obviously very eye-catching last time out as well.
Yeah, Palace Guard, we tipped that the last day. It beat War Hero, worse off now, but fairly unexposed. It looked a horse that could have a bit in hand from its maiden forms, quite well bred.
Only got 4 for that one.
Yeah,
as well,
I think it's fine, and the mile should suit as well. So I'd give that a very strong chance. I think the horses sort of down lower in the handicap might be a little bit out of their class level here. Adelia, a grand straightforward filly. I'd say she's going to run very well from the front. I thought Abel was pretty disappointing, to be honest, last time. Palace Guard for me.
Gavin?
Yeah, Johnny tipped it up the last time when it won over 7. I think the step up to 8 is really crucial for this horse. As you said, it's only up £4. So I'm definitely tipping Palace Guard. One horse to keep an eye on perhaps is Ragtime Red. It's his first handicap, trained by Ger Lyons. It's in a handicap here of 65. It ran in the maiden. Do you remember the maiden that Beckford won at the Curragh?
Yes.
Where basically
First
7, 8, 9 winners. It was one of the best maidens you'll see. It finished last in that, but it's been gelded first time in a handicap of 65. Just one to keep an eye on for future reference, Ragtime Red, but definitely Palace Guard.
Good stuff. The maiden up at 7:30. This is absolutely wide open. Anything jumping off the page at you here?
You'd have to pick Downdraft just by a process of elimination. It's hard to know how good the McAlford Godolphin horse is. It's
terrible name though.
Yeah.
Cockalorum.
Cockalorum, yeah.
Full brother to Strong Belief, who won.
Won on debut.
Yeah, won a maiden by 7 lengths. Downdraft, it's a reluctant pick because it's by a Derby winner. It's stepping down from 8 to 7, which I don't think will suit. It's drawn 5. It'll have to probably make all, but just maybe Downdraft. Aidan McGuinness had a very good winner last week in a 3-year-old race called Florista. If there's money for his horse here, Chaparral Dream perhaps might be a sneaky one, but maybe Downdraft.
This is why propaganda. So I could make a case. It's by Guinea's winner. You're saying it's by Derby winner. We're both right.
Yes.
So it's by Camelot, and it was actually back to beat a very highly rated horse, Jim Bulger's, the last time. And if the market were anyway accurate, it was maybe a small bit disappointing, but I thought it ran well. I don't think there's much in this race. My nap of the night Downdraft, gotten a little break since that run. I think it's a very good chance.
Good stuff. On to the penultimate race of the evening. This handicap over 7 furlongs, and 9 of these have won over the distance. 6 of them over course and distance. Only 11 go. Have you narrowed it down to one of those 6 previous course and distance winners?
If anybody's driving to Dundalk tomorrow, watch out for a horse driving a jeep and a horse box, because Geological, this is going to be his 12th run in 13 Fridays. In the last 16 months, he's run 47 times. This is actually his trip to 7 furlongs, more so than the 5, 6 or the 8 that he runs over. He's a fantastic horse, so he'd have a squeak, but I think Beach Bar possibly is the bet of the night. It beat Geological over course and distance off 82 in December. A great run the last time behind Captain Joy. Might prefer 8, but I think even over 7 Beach Bar.
I like Geological. I think is HRI's best horse to ever, give an example of why to get into horse ownership. He costs less than £1,000 and he's won well over 100. And he's run a
he should be a feature
of
one of those
ownership
campaigns.
Absolutely,
he's a super horse,
and he's trained by Little Yard as well in North Dublin. So it's a great story. Shawnee, I think, has a great chance here if he can just drop the bit. He doesn't get the mile as we said the last day.
You're giving up the ghost in Texas Radio, but not Shawnee.
I think he wants 7 furlongs. He can be, and the key to this race is with the likes of Togaville, Geological. I think he's just going to have a strong pace to sit off under Hayes from gate 1 each way.
Good stuff, Shine. Right, on to the last race today. We'll get a mention in Leopardstown as well, because geez, you're flying through these lads. Almost like you've something else to think about. Right, on to the 8:30 here. I actually quite like Bluesbreaker's chance here. He took it a perfect hat trick, left foot, right foot, and a header. He's going to go for 5, 6, and 7 here for his hat trick if he gets it. So could be a good finish to the evening for Damien English. Who do you think?
Yeah, it's an open race, isn't it? Brave Display will much prefer 6 to 5. Bluesbreaker will prefer 6 than 7 last week. Free to Roam, who was second Bluesbreaker over 5, will definitely prefer 6. One horse to give a mention to, Pack Army. It gets a £14 allowance for being a 3-year-old. It gets a £10 allowance for the jockey. So You could say it's running off 31. It's carrying 7 stone 8. Just be interested to see how he goes, but I'd probably just pick Blues Breaker.
Blues Breaker as well for you, Johnny?
I thought this was the toughest race of the night. I'm with Mo Henry. Sean Corby claims 3. Has been in decent form. 6 furlongs probably the trip, but probably the least attractive betting race of the night.
Good stuff. Leopardstown. We'll mention Leopardstown because there's something going on there. Go on, give us a bet for Leopardstown, Gavin.
I'll give you a 3 or 4.
Okay. Maybe 2 is probably fine. Oh, 3.
I'm going to go with Faheen.
Faheen, yeah.
I'm going to go with Mind's Eye in the Coral Hurdle.
Yeah.
I have tipped up on a different programme the Charles Burns horse, but I think Mind's Eye at 10 to 1 is good value.
Yeah.
Kilfenora in a handicap chase, and the horse in the 4-year-old race, the Spring Juvenile, the Gordon Elliott horse.
Farclas.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Johnny?
I think Farclas has a very good each way chance in what's going to be a strongly run race. I think that'll suit him. We'll finally get to find out how good Esper Dallin is off a good pace. But Farclas, a really, really interesting horse. Wouldn't put one off backing it for the triumph. Mind's Eye has a great each way chance. Dylan Robinson claiming 5, strong traveller over the 2 miles. Sam Crow should win the Deloitte, presuming he runs. And I think Dorpan Park should also take the beating in the race that Sam Crow's supposed to run in. And Rapid Escape should win the bumper. But what a day's racing on Saturday. I mean,
brilliant.
It's as good a day's racing as I can ever remember in Ireland, I have to say. I just hope the weather is favourable and we get a great crowd at Epsom.
Yeah, it should be. Weather's been good in Dublin for the last couple of days. Hopefully it stays like that. Sutton Place, by the way, is my best bet of the weekend. Best bets for Friday. Going back to Friday. You have them written down.
I'm downdraft Shadigan and turn on the tiers in that order.
Cool.
Clear Skies. She's not running.
No, Timmy's not running either. Come on.
Beach Bars, the Nap, Palace Guard, and Uncle Henry.
Cool. Well, I'm going with Blues Breaker, Turn on the Tears, and also Uncle Henry in the second. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the weekend's racing. It's an absolute cracker.